So, Ginger.
Yeah?
You know how we wanted to start a podcast, but we were having trouble coming up with a topic?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my pitch. The topic of the podcast is us trying to come up with the topic for the podcast.
What, like we pitch each other podcast ideas and that's the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. We could call it, What Should Our Podcast Be About?
Miles, that's really stupid. Let's do it.
What should this song be about? I'm trying to figure it out. What should this song be about? Could you perhaps help me out? I've had a moment of doubt. What should this song be about?
Welcome to What Should Our Podcast Be About? The podcast where we try to figure out what this podcast that you're listening to right now should be about. Miles Grover,
This what we're doing?
So, welcome to What Should Our Podcast Be About? The podcast where we try to figure out what this podcast that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm Miles Grover.
And I'm Ginger Barham.
So, Ginger had lost her voice earlier, and I was thinking maybe it would be funny to do an episode where we have AI replicate our voices and we like type and have it come out. And what you heard at the beginning there was AI's attempt. Apparently, my name is very hard to say.
Yeah.
For some reason. Miles Grover.
Miles Grover.
Like it just said, I'm Miles Grover in the text. I don't know why it freaked out about
Maybe
it.
it's
So
the
much.
double M.
But why would it say it like 4 times?
But
It like repeated itself over and over. It was very weird.
You broke it.
Yeah,
You broke
I
it.
broke it, I guess. So welcome.
Hello. This may be a shorter episode because my voice probably can't handle too much today.
Yeah, Ginger's voice got better, but we may not. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how long it lasts.
I did have a little correction from last time, which was we were talking about how purring works with cats. And I said some stuff, and then Ginger looked it up and was like, I guess we were both a little bit right. But I was not right. What I said was pretty much totally wrong. I came up with one. I said hyoid, which is a bone that's involved in it. But other than that, I was totally wrong. So I wanted to just be clear. She was being nice when she said we were sort of right. She was totally right, and I was totally wrong about that.
I mean, we know which one of us knows more about cats, and it's me.
True. I don't, and I said what I said really confidently, and I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking of something I had read, but I guess I was thinking, or I remembered it totally wrong or something. I don't know.
Well, you know, it is 10% what you say and 90% how you say it. So good job being confident.
Yeah, it was, I was wrong. So
Yeah.
Just to be clear about that.
Well, I'm glad we have that on the record.
Yes.
I always like when it's on the record that you were incorrect about something.
Yeah. Okay. That said, should we get started with podcast ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of our thing.
That's the thing we do.
That's our thing.
Why don't I get started? I think you started last time.
Okay.
So another preamble, I guess, is I am always trying to top myself on the worst ideas for podcasts. And I've had a number of times when you have said, wow, I think that's the worst one yet.
Yeah.
Which I'm proud of. And I'm hoping that maybe I can get there again. And so, with that said, you've heard of Can I Pet Your Dog? And you've heard of Can I Pet Your Cat?
I came up with it.
From last week.
Yep.
So how about Can I Launch Your Hamster? A podcast where we go up to people's doors and ask them if we bring a little catapult or trebuchet maybe with us.
Yeah.
And ask them if we can launch their hamster out of it.
Well, I think one problem I foresee with that is that like people are much more likely to have cats and dogs than hamsters. So you're going to knock on a lot of doors before you find somebody with a hamster. So you not only have to find somebody with a hamster, you have to find somebody that has a hamster and is willing to let you launch it.
True.
Which I propose is going to be a difficult task to find even one person.
Okay.
And if they say yes, you should just take their hamster because they don't deserve to have a hamster.
Right. It's actually a trick.
Yeah.
So one way to get around that is I just Googled how much does a hamster cost, and they only cost from $18 to $23 at PetSmart, apparently.
No, they're not very expensive. What, are you going to buy hamsters and launch them?
Well, we could, if we don't find anyone with hamster, we could just hand someone a hamster and say, "Can I launch? This hamster is yours now. Can I launch it?"
No. We're not launching hamsters. Not unless you build them like some little hamster safety device.
Oh,
Give them some little goggles.
like the egg drop things.
Yeah, like you got to make it safe for the hamster.
At least give it a parachute.
Like make it so like now this hamster can fly and it's the best day of its life. But it doesn't end with it crashing into the ground and dying.
Right. No, I think that even if we gave it little goggles and a little parachute, it would probably still be the most terrifying, horrible day of the hamster's life, and it might just die of a heart attack.
Oh.
Actually, I don't know. I know some animals can have stuff like that happen. I don't know if hamsters
I feel
are
like
that
hamsters
fragile.
have pretty like fast heartbeats as it is.
Right.
Like aren't they like squirrels where they really like rely on their nervous system for things quite a bit? Let's
probably.
see. What do we think a hamster's heart rate is? As it
I mean,
stands?
every little animal, like the smaller animals, have the faster heart rates.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's pretty high compared to humans and elephants and stuff.
Hamster heart rate. The second suggested result was hamster heart attack. So
So they might be prone to it.
So their resting heart rate is between 300 to 600 beats per minute.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah, I was the like norm, the average is 450 beats per minute. Yeah, I mean it is when you think that like ours is usually between like 70 and 120.
Right. It's
Yeah.
It's 3-ish times, 3-4 times.
Yeah, quite high. Mice are 450 to 750 beats per minute.
Yeah.
While cows are 48 to 84 beats per minute. Quite low.
It tends to correlate with size, I think. So
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean maybe I guess that makes sense.
And cows probably also live longer than, well, not longer than humans, but longer than mice and stuff like that. Like
Right.
lifespan tends to also kind of correlate with that to some extent. Like elephants live to be like 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
I think, or
they're
they
just
can.
25 to 35
Yeah.
beats per minute.
Humans are particularly long lived, I guess, for our size, but
Yeah.
so are like parrots and stuff. So it's not like,
Dogs are 70 to 120.
so about similar to us.
They don't live a long time though.
No, and
I said 70 to 120. Ours is more like 60 to 100.
yeah, those are still pretty similar. But yeah,
It also depends on like, are you a runner? Like
sure, there's lots of
if you're an
factors.
athlete, you tend to have like a much lower resting heart rate.
Right. And dogs still live quite a bit longer than like mice do. I think mice live like 2 or 3 years or something.
Yeah.
Right. At most, usually.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway. This is the
A podcast where we discuss
heart rate podcast.
heart rates and lifespans relative to size.
Yes. And where we launch hamsters.
Oh.
Catapults.
Well, I think we've established we don't want to give hamsters heart attacks.
I mean, ideally, but if we can
Will we
launch
be like
them,
given a play-by-play of this? Is that like would this be good audio, or is it just going to be the sound of hamsters being launched? Because if that's the case, we don't actually have to launch any hamsters.
right? We just
We
make
just
some
pretend.
like we could just do some like hamster sounds with a Doppler effect of like.
Is that the sound you think hamsters make when they're launched?
Maybe. I mean, I guess so. I don't know. I've never tried it. That's the point. I've got to try it. It's for science. We have to.
Is it?
It's for science.
I don't think it. What are you hoping to learn from this?
What sound hamsters make when they get launched?
What sound hamster make when launched?
What sound a hamster make? So that's that terrible idea.
Yeah. Okay.
Do
Is
you-
it my turn to?
Do you have an idea that's maybe less terrible? Or maybe
probably
more
not.
terrible? Not less terrible than launching hamsters for science? Purely?
Actually, yeah, less terrible. Mine's
Okay.
less terrible.
Okay, good.
So I had a couple ideas this week, but one of them you already kind of covered. So
It was the heartbeat thing, wasn't it?
yes. No, I was going to say a podcast where we're just both AI.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't need to discuss that further, I think, probably.
Well, you could try your
Yeah, do you want to hear what I came up with?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear the wonderful thing I came up with when I had no voice? You were like, oh, you should look into apps, but I discovered that it's already a built-in feature on iPhone. However, I think you'd have to type pretty fast for it to like actually work. And I think that I type reasonably fast on my phone, but not fast enough for this. So here's what I've got.
Hello, my name is Ginger.
Yeah, it sucks.
So yeah.
You would do better with an app, but it would still have the typing speed problem, I think.
Talking like this, we will take a while.
It decided to start reading the word in the middle
Yeah,
of it.
because it turns out I use autocomplete a lot.
Yeah.
So I'll just type part of the word and then click on the
Right.
suggested one because it is faster, but it definitely confuses the text to speech.
Yeah.
So,
Also,
yeah.
it's interesting that the text to speech for, like, I guess, because this is the accessibility feature, right? So it reads it really fast too,
Yeah.
right? If you got like, there's apps you can get that where you can get it to do your voice, like I did for the one at the beginning, and maybe it would be less bad than that normally, because I don't know why it sucked so bad when I tried it. But you can also get apps where it's like you can do Joe Biden's voice or Donald Trump's voice, or like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to
Morgan
do any
Freeman,
of that.
Morgan Freeman's voice, or you could say stuff in Chinese or something, I guess.
Yeah.
And the apps would probably be a little bit better.
A podcast where I constantly get distracted by our adorable baby.
That's been this podcast all along.
Oh.
Secretly.
Oops. I mean, you're welcome.
I mean, in our early episodes, it happened on Mike quite a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Because he was there in the room with us.
Yeah.
Usually.
He is sort of here in the room with us now, but he's on the monitor.
Yeah.
And sometimes he's turned away, and then it's easier to
Unless his little
ignore.
foot is turned towards the camera.
Yeah.
He's got a cute little foot.
He does. The back of his head's pretty cute too. He's got a lot of curls.
Yeah, sure.
Which leads me to my next idea:
Okay.
ways to lull a baby to sleep.
Okay.
Because I feel like let's make a podcast that would be useful to us.
Okay.
And
so
maybe we
could,
can come up with some ways to make our baby sleep.
like, we could even record stuff and then just play the recording, maybe, if we found the right thing.
Yeah, if we found the right thing. Like, we investigate different noises that have been shown to make babies sleep. Because we have a white noise machine, but I feel like he's maybe slowly becoming immune to it or something.
Right. Yeah.
The context for this, I mean, obviously, is we have a baby. People know babies don't sleep. But this has especially been on my mind since last night when he took about 15 minutes to go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
which was great. But it always scares me a little bit because I'm always afraid he's just going to wake right back up. And he did. And he didn't go back to sleep until 11 o'clock at night.
He woke
Actually,
up,
later, I think.
He woke up like several times and then
Like every 15 minutes.
yeah, and then it was like he just wouldn't go to sleep.
Yeah.
It was like almost midnight.
Yeah, I think it was almost
definitely
midnight.
after
Actually, I think
11,
it was 11 when I messaged you so I could tap out for a few.
Yeah.
So yeah, any ideas there?
Okay. They probably like lullaby type sounds. That's why it's called lullaby, probably, I assume.
And we haven't tried playing lullabies. Maybe we should try that.
Although
He does sometimes fall asleep to the happy song in the car. Is there a way we could simulate the car in our bed?
Well, I think that's part of what the white noise machine's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I guess we would also need some kind of rumble thing for him. I guess we could put him back in one of those rumbly seat things we have.
Yeah. That never really worked though when he was a newborn. The rumbly seat. It would work if we rocked it. But I mean, I think the problem is he just really wants to be rocked in our arms. Last night, the problem we were having was he just would start screaming the second you set him down, even if it seemed like he was totally asleep. Normally I'm pretty good at gauging and like, all right, he's out. I can safely set him down. But no, the second you set him down.
Yeah, and it was funny because when I was trying to get him to sleep, like I was patting him and rocking him, and then he would he would be kind of falling asleep. Then he would like sit his little head up, and then he would like wiggle himself to try to get out of my arms. And if I let him down, then he immediately started crying and wanted to be picked up again. I was like, well, what do you want, dude?
Yeah. Yeah. A podcast where we try to figure out what babies want.
Yeah, what babies want. What babies want is kind of a good title, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. What do babies want? Everything and nothing.
And they don't know.
And they don't know.
They don't know what they want. He wanted to not be uncomfortable, probably because he's been sick.
He's been sick.
And that's probably what he wanted, and we couldn't do much about it.
He's been coughing, so I think his throat's hurting. It's especially hard when babies get sick, too, because there are very few medicines that you can give a baby under 2.
Speaking of which, a podcast about how much ants suck.
Oh my God.
We went to give him some Tylenol last night. We've got like liquid Tylenol, and it was full of ants.
Yeah.
The bottle was full of ants.
We have been having a
I don't know how they got
problem.
in there.
We've been having a problem with tiny ants, especially in our bathroom.
I think we've talked about it a little before, but
Yeah.
this time the cap was on. They somehow crawled into the thing and died, and there was a bunch of dead ones in there.
Yeah, so I guess we have to like keep our Tylenol tightly sealed. Like apparently the cap it comes with isn't enough. I guess we put it in a Ziploc bag or something.
I guess. I don't know.
Like I have been trying to keep
it was
that
in the cupboard too.
Yeah.
Like, up off of the...
It was in the cupboard.
Yeah.
I pulled it out and there were ants crawling on it. And then I saw that there were dead ones in there. And I was like, okay, cool. Can't give our baby Tylenol tonight.
Yep. So fuck ants.
Yeah.
The podcast.
Fuck ants, the podcast. Not aunts and aunts and uncles. They're fine.
Yeah. Not aunts.
Not aunts. Aunts are all right.
Yeah. But as far as getting babies to sleep, maybe a robot that could rock him, but like he would think was mom and dad.
Yeah, a me and you robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Clone
that would be difficult. I
technology.
feel like that would be, because it would have to smell like you, sound
Yeah.
like you. In my case, hopefully smell like breast milk.
Well, last night, because I usually leave the room while you try to get him to sleep because he goes to sleep better when he can't get distracted by me being there.
Yeah.
I guess. But last night, I was gone for a while and then he wouldn't stop crying. And then I came up and then he stopped crying. So sometimes he just wants one of us. So the robot needs to be able to switch which one of us it is.
Yeah.
Or we need
If
two
the baby
robots,
starts
or-
crying and it goes on long enough, it activates mom mode or dad mode.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So inventing a robot is probably a little bit difficult for two people who are podcasters and not even that good at podcasting. We're definitely
Yeah.
not roboticists
We're definitely not robots.
or robots. Well, sometimes when we have the AI do our
Yeah.
voice, we kind of are, but
Sometimes we cosplay as robots.
yeah. I have gone as a robot for Halloween before.
Sex robot?
No.
You should go sex robot next year.
Well, it was a work costume that year, and I feel like that would be an HR violation.
Oh,
Probably.
yeah. I did get like one of my jobs, my coworker and I were both talking about how much we loved that skit and started singing the sex robot song.
I'll put in a little clip here, I guess, if you don't know about it.
Sex robot, 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 sex robot.
And it went on for, maybe a full minute. And finally our boss was like, maybe don't sing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a relaxed workplace. Turns out not quite that
Not
relaxed.
that relaxed, yeah. I mean, I work from home, so I guess I can listen to the sex robot song as much as I want.
Yeah.
As long as my coworkers don't know about it.
You could dress as sex robot and no one would know,
just
really.
not have my camera on. Yeah. That would be quite weird to be sitting at my desk in a robot outfit without my camera on.
I mean,
Especially if it was
he just looks like a robot. So you could probably get away with it as long as you don't sing the song.
but whenever somebody asked me something, I'd have to be like, he wants sex.
He wants sex.
You would have to.
I would have to.
You would have to.
I'm a method actor robot cosplayer. Okay, so we're not coming up with a lot as far as good baby lulling ideas. So maybe we put a pin in that, but we could come back to it if we want to.
Yeah. What has anybody done like white noise earmuffs for a baby? I mean, I guess that's just headphones.
That's just headphones.
But baby headphones. Is that anything?
Maybe. I mean, we do have like earmuffs that look like headphones that I guess we could put on him.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's better than just the white noise machine, though.
Blocks out. I mean, I don't know. I feel like putting on headphones
It's
kind of like blocks
block
things
out some of the sound, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But there isn't the problem isn't there's a lot of sound
Yeah.
generally, I don't think.
Yeah. Could we make a pretend womb?
A robot womb?
A robot womb.
Okay, and we're going to fill it with amniotic fluid and dunk him in that?
Well, no. That would kill your baby.
Well, it can breathe it. There's oxygen in it.
I mean,
He would have to learn to breathe it again, I guess.
yeah, I don't know if that works after you've stopped it.
It does, at least according to the movie The Abyss.
Oh, well, if
Because
it's
in
true
that-
in the abyss.
In that movie, they're so deep underwater that they can't have pressurized oxygen in their suits or whatever. So they've got like suits full of like goo that has oxygen in it that they can breathe or something. That's what I remember from that movie.
I don't remember
So
much from that movie.
that documentary proves that it's true.
Is that the one where the like old people stop aging or
No,
reverse
that's Cocoon.
That's Cocoon. That's
No.
Cocoon.
The Abyss
Okay.
is Ed Harris, Mary Stuart Master Antonio, I think, is the girl in it. I think that's her name. And they're like deep underwater and they encounter like, there's like, it's the one with the water tentacle that comes out and gets the girl's face on it and then the guy's face on it and sticks its tongue out at him.
I don't think I've seen this.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
You don't know that scene I'm talking about?
No.
There's like a famous, it's
No.
like one of the first CGI things.
No.
And it's like a water tentacle comes out and it like mimics their faces and stuff.
A podcast where you introduced me to old movies that I should have seen by now but haven't.
I guess it was a 90s movie, I want to say, or maybe it
Yeah.
must have been 90s. It was on HBO a lot when my family had HBO
Oh.
at one point.
We didn't have HBO.
We had HBO at like
we weren't
sort
HBO
of-
rich.
we certainly were HBO rich. We had it at certain points when it was like cheap or whatever. So we would get it for like a few months and then the deal would go away and we would stop having it, kind of thing.
I think we did that, but I'm pretty sure that my mom like blocked those channels out.
Well, we definitely
Like I couldn't watch MTV either. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we had HBO for little stints, so it would be like while we have HBO, we watch it all the time, but also they only have so many movies they play, so you see the same movie over and over again.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I saw The Abyss like 10 times probably as a kid or something.
Yeah.
Which I don't super well remember it at this point, but that one scene is very famous and iconic. But I guess you don't remember that.
Nope. I don't remember it because it has not happened to me.
It's definitely a real documentary that happened when Ed Harris was a scientist.
And it's why it's okay to put your baby in fake amniotic fluid.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we've solved it. So no podcast needed.
Okay,
I guess.
cool.
We've solved it.
Yeah.
You just dunk him in there and
I don't
he'll go to
even
sleep.
know if that would work, like doing the fake womb thing, because he's not super into being swaddled anymore either.
Yeah.
Like at a certain age, just like
I really think it's just he needs to be comfortable and he's not comfortable when he's sick and there's only so much you can do
and there's
about
also
that.
just a lot going on in his little brain right now.
Yeah, sure.
As it's working on becoming a bigger brain, and he's working on making words and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also working on making words and stuff.
Words are hard, yes. All right, shall we move on to another idea?
If you have more ideas.
I have more ideas.
Okay, good, because I do not.
Okay. So I went after last episode. I did go on a pretty deep on the Heathcliff rabbit hole.
You don't say.
Heathcliff Comics rabbit hole.
I couldn't tell.
I
You
sent
definitely
a lot.
weren't texting me comic after comic after comic at like 9 a.m.
Yeah, I discovered that of the fullness of Heathcliff, not all of them are completely nonsense like the ones that we were talking about.
But they kind of are. It's just like if you've read enough of them, your
You start
like
to get the
tolerance
logic.
for weird
Yeah.
goes up.
Well, okay, some facts about the Heathcliff comic. It started in, I believe, 1973.
Okay.
The original guy who did it handed it off to his nephew in like the late 90s, I think.
Oh, okay.
And he's been doing it since then. Still doing it.
Was it weird to begin with?
It was a lot less weird.
Okay.
So the guy that's been doing it now, and it wasn't that weird when he started doing it either. The further back you go, the more sense the comics make, generally speaking, I would say. He's been doing it since the late 90s. He still does a new comic every single day. Every day. It's not like weekly or weekdaily or anything. It's every day. There's comics going back, 20, 30 years.
That's
right?
a lot of
There's
comics.
a lot of comics. So I definitely haven't read them all or anything like that. And also the online, the official like Go Comics website or whatever that they're on only goes back till 2002,
Okay.
which is like 30 years after the comic started.
Right.
But anyway, so I was thinking an
Has
idea.
it been daily since it started?
I am not sure, but it's been daily for quite a while at
Okay.
least. And so I guess one podcast idea is a Heathcliff comic deep dive where we just go through a lot of Heathcliff comics. One thing I've discovered from going through a bunch of them is that about 50% of them more or less make sense, right? Usually it's something about how Heathcliff is, a cat and loves, like a cat who's mischievous and loves meat or loves whatever. About 25% of them kind of make sense, where it's like you can kind of see how they got there from the whole premise of Heathcliff being, a mischievous cat that loves meat and whatever.
Yeah.
Like there was one I sent you that's from a couple days ago, I think, where Heathcliff is riding on a turtle toward the dentist, and the dentist says something like, they don't come very fast to the dentist, or something like that. Like, nobody likes to come to the dentist, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, he has to go to the dentist, I guess, and he doesn't want to, so he's riding on a turtle, so it'd be slow. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, a lot of them are kind of that level where it's like, I guess, I don't know if it's a joke, really, exactly, but I guess it kind of makes sense. It's sort of funny because it's just dumb, but like, and then you've got the another 25% where it's just like, what are you even talking about? Like all the ones where with the robots, where it's like, there's one that's like sort of on the borderline between those, where it's like Heathcliff and a robot are standing outside on the sidewalk, and it's winter, and I think the people are looking out the window, and it says like, if you're cold, they're cold.
Yeah.
Right.
The whole bring them inside thing.
Right. But it's like, okay, but why is he
out there with
a
the robot?
The robot's wearing like a scarf or something.
I think it's interesting because it sometimes makes it seem like you're like, there must have been a storyline that involved a robot, right? There must be a reason the robot is there, and I just haven't read that one.
No.
But no.
I mean, the robots are recurring, right? They show up randomly, just like the garbage ape. But I think it seems like basically the dude just like put some random weird thing in the comic and then is like, well, that's a thing. Now I can reference that again. Right. Like,
yeah.
Well, I'd had the robots in, 6 years ago for the first time or whatever it was. And now every once in a while, I'm just going to put these robots in and that Heathcliff hangs out with.
A podcast where we try to figure out why the Heathcliff comics fascinate you so much.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's more or less similar to my Heathcliff deep dive idea. Another idea from that I had was, what if we try to come up with new Heathcliff comics?
I feel like you're going to be better at that than I am because you actually write a comic.
True, but
vampire-cat.com, by the way. Check it out.
It doesn't follow any of the rules of comics, I feel like. I mean, single panel comics are a little bit their own thing because the whole setup and punchline has to be one thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different than like as I typically do like a 3 or 4 panel comic kind of thing. But also this one, like,
do you think they're like trying to do like Gary Larson weird and it's just like missed the mark?
No, no, I don't. Because, like, there's a bunch, basically, like, all the ones that are really weird like that, I feel like, or most of them, they introduced some character like this. Like the garbage ape, like the robots, like Jimmy the Frog. Like, there's a comic, one of them is just a big sign, like a big billboard that says Jimmy on it, and a picture of Jimmy, and there's a bird just saying, like, I'm not feeling Jimmy.
Yeah.
All you're doing is saying Jimmy, and it's still funny, but like, what are you talking about?
I do feel like these comics are funnier to you than to me. And maybe it's something because like you make comics.
Yeah.
And you just are kind of like, I didn't know you could do this. You could just not make sense.
I do sort of feel like I didn't know you could do this. And I little bit want to make a comic like this now, but I don't know how I would and not just have it be Heathcliff.
Right.
Like when I take inspiration from stuff, I always try to like transform it to some extent so it's a little bit less obvious I'm just ripping something off, right?
Right.
But with this, it's just like, and I also don't know that I don't know who reads Heathcliff, if anybody.
That is the thing, is like, who is this for? I mean, clearly it's for you.
Well, but it's being published every day by a comic syndicate or whatever. Right? Like, it's probably in newspapers and stuff. Somebody must be reading it or something. I don't know.
So is this our idea this week?
Well, because
we've already talked about this one for a while, so we might just want to keep going with this.
I don't know if we want to do 2 Heathcliff things in a row.
But it seems like you do.
Well, okay. So my idea was deep dive, and then what if we come up with Heathcliff comics, like new ones? And then I thought, well, I need to come up with ideas for my own comic. What if we just did a podcast where we brainstorm comic ideas for my comic?
Yeah.
That could be fun. So that's another idea.
Yeah. Well, we could try that. I do sometimes make suggestions though, and many times you're like, no, I don't think I will.
Yeah. So I found,
which is fair. I don't write comics.
Yeah.
So.
I've found that people who don't write comics tend to have ideas that are just not at all workable for a comic.
Yeah.
Usually. But I think if we were to like workshop ideas together, maybe that could work, right? Because I could be like, well, maybe that wouldn't work, but what if we did like something along these lines? Or
A podcast where I keep getting distracted by the spider on the wall.
okay, a comic about a spider on a wall.
I don't know if that spider's alive or dead. I keep waiting to see if it's going to move, and it hasn't moved. It's just a little
Do they
guy.
still stick to the wall when they're dead?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I mean, if he's got some webbing up there,
Maybe.
he could just be like chilling in his webbing, and then maybe no food came.
Maybe.
Anyway,
Okay, but what
I
about...
appreciate the spiders we get in our house because they're always like little guys that just hang out on the ceiling.
Right.
They
Not
don't
like the big wolf spiders.
Yeah,
you
they're
get
not
in
like big wolf
Washington.
spiders hanging out in the drain. Like, they're the ideal spiders. I'm like, cool, you stay up there and do your thing and keep the fruit flies away, and
Yeah.
and we're cool.
Okay. But I think you could make a comic about a cute little spider.
Cute
Or
little spider.
We could talk about that.
Is there any way, though, to draw a cartoon spider that's going to be cuter than the one in Charlotte's Web? The animated Charlotte's Web?
Yeah, probably.
Because that was the cutest spider.
She was somewhat realistic looking as a spider, I feel like.
She had, like, big eyes.
She did. And didn't have like 8 of them, which is probably a good
Yeah.
idea. But I think you could you can draw a little circle with a cute little face and then just 8 legs sticking off of it. And that's a cute spider, right? Like,
What if we did a comic about, like, one of those cute jumping spiders?
oh, you mean like the ones that have the big eyes?
Yeah, the, like... Oh, no. Sorry, not the jumping spiders. Peacock spiders.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're jumping spiders, but or
No,
maybe
I
they
meant
are.
peacock
but
spider,
But
not
they are
jumping
kind of cute.
spider.
They have like one pair of really big eyes and
Yeah.
a bunch of little eyes. I think there actually is a comic or maybe a cartoon about like Jimmy the spider or something. I think it might actually be Jimmy.
Is it Jimmy?
It might. I can't remember, but
Are you sure you're not just pulling that from Heathcliff?
No, I'm not sure, but I think it might be, or it's something like that. It's like or
What's a good spider name?
good question. Not Jimmy, I would say.
Not Jimmy, no.
Jimmy is a pretty good frog name. though.
Svetlana would say Bob.
Probably. Or she's been on a kick lately of combining different names like Tarami, I think, and like
Which is like Tara and Jeremy.
I guess so, and like there's another one that was like Jeffamy or I don't know. She just like
Jeffamy.
something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
She likes Jeff a lot as a name
I
too.
mean, Jeff is solid.
Jeff's pretty funny.
It's
And there were those birds
I
at
don't know
Disney
what-
World that we called the Wig Jeffries.
yeah. I don't know what it is about the name Jeff that's funny, but like
It kind of sounds like a cough or something. Like
yeah.
Jeff. I don't know. It's kind of a funny name, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's also it's like normal, but also kind of funny sounding.
Simon.
Simon the Spider?
Simon.
Not a very funny name, I would
It
say.
makes me think of like a spider with little spectacles.
Okay. Like an Alvin Simon Theodore kind of thing.
Well, no, I was thinking that this spider is like a librarian.
Right, but I'm saying as far as Simons with spectacles.
Could the
The
spider
chipmunk.
be a librarian?
Maybe it could live in a library.
Okay.
It could have its web up in the corner of
Yeah.
the library. That's pretty
Library
cute.
spider has a certain ring
Library
to it.
spider, yeah, maybe.
Such and such the library spider.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe not Simon the library spider.
No, I think it's got to be something more funny or longer or something. Like, got to flow, right? Like
Yeah.
Vyacheslav, the library spider. Not that, but something
Vlad the library spider.
like, yeah.
Jeff the library spider.
Jeffinold.
Reginald the library spider. No, that's not it.
Not quite. What before we get too far on this, is this what we want to do? And if so, what's the name of this podcast? Is it just the name of the spider comic? Or is it like a podcast where we come up with comic ideas generally? What should our comic
yeah.
be about? I guess.
What should our comic be about?
That's I don't know. That's a little too.
That's this podcast, but more limited.
Yeah, more specific.
Talking comics.
Talking comics.
Talking without the G
Can I launch
and
your
with the
comics?
apostrophe. Can I launch your comics? A comic about a hamster
Okay.
that is always getting launched.
Okay. So like an Evil Knievel hamster.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got to have like.
He's got a little
a little
helmet,
cape,
and
a little helmet.
Yep. And big goggles and stuff.
I feel like I've seen something like that
Yeah.
somewhere on the internet.
It's a pretty good idea, actually.
An Evil Knievel hamster.
But I don't know if we want us to get away from our library spider.
No, I think we should continue to talk about the library spider. especially because I keep staring at this spider, so it's just on my mind.
Yeah. Maybe it'd be just like random comic generator or something like that. Could be.
Randall the library spider.
No, I mean for the podcast name.
Randall.
Randall?
Randall the
I don't
library
know. I don't
spider.
like Randall.
Should it be something that starts with an L?
Lucas.
Lucas the library spider. Is there no? I feel like there's a Lucas.
Actually, the spider I was thinking of as Jimmy might have been Lucas.
I think there's a Lucas the spider online already.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I think that's what I was talking about, maybe. Larry the spider?
No. I mean, Larry the library spider has a certain ring to it.
Yeah, but I don't see him
But
as
I don't
a
like the
Larry.
name Larry.
Maybe it's a girl. Maybe it's not a boy spider. Maybe it's Louisa the library spider. That's not good.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, like
Linda the library
I mean,
spider.
I guess
It's
our
like
spider could do away with gender norms, but I definitely was picturing our spider in like a tweed jacket with like little elbow patches.
Okay, because I just said Linda the library spider, and now I'm picturing a little spider with like an old lady beehive kind of hair situation, and it's like a grumpy library spider.
That's just shushing the kids. A grumpy library spider is pretty good.
Yeah, that's like everybody's too loud in here or whatever, or like here's a fly, and it's like I have to kill this fly.
But
so
I
it
like
doesn't
the idea of a like happy library spider that's encouraging children to read.
Okay.
Because I don't really like the idea that librarians are grumpy, because I've known a lot of librarians and none of them have been grumpy. They've all been delightful.
Yeah, it was more that I picture people named Linda as grumpy.
Yeah,
I think.
fair.
Maybe.
Fair. I mean, yeah, I think if you're a Linda, you probably have to be grumpy.
Yeah.
Apologies to
Apologies
any Lindas
to nice
listening.
Lindas, but out there. But
We haven't met you.
I don't know if I've even met any grumpy Lindas particularly. It's just like what I associate with.
They
the
all
name.
work in HR.
Right. Or at the DMV or something.
Yeah. I love that. That is one of my favorite episodes of Kimmy Schmidt. When the guy names his baby Linda.
Right.
And like they interview all the Lindas and they're like, no, we chose this name when we started working in HR. None of us were born
Right.
Linda.
Right. Yeah. Linda is just not a name for a child.
Yeah.
You cannot be a child named Linda. Obviously, adults named Linda were children at one point, Kimmy Schmidt aside, but like
Yeah.
children just can't be named Linda. I'm sorry. They just can't. It's not allowed.
Yeah. It's like there's some names that are just like old.
And it's not even like old, like I feel like a child could be named Ethel before they could be named Linda.
Yeah.
Like Linda has a very specific vibe to me.
Ethel would be weird too, though.
It would be, but like it would be Ethel is like such an old lady name that it would kind of come back around a little bit, I think.
Yeah. Lucky the library spider.
Lucky's okay. Lucky is like a pet name.
Yeah.
Like a name of a pet. I want it to be something.
Lemmy the library
I feel like
spider.
I want it to be something like classical and like a little bit silly because it's too serious, almost like Ulysses the spider or something like, or I don't know, something like
Leopold.
Leopold the spider.
Leopold the library spider.
It's not bad.
I do like Lemmy though.
Lemmy's okay. Is Lemmy a name or a nickname for something? Leminold, Lemtholomew.
I mean, I feel like I've just heard it as a name, but let's see what Google says. Lemmy. Let me just Google Lemmy. Well,
Isn't that the guy from Motorhead or something?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
Did I know that?
I don't know. I feel like it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that's all that's coming up when I Google Lemmy. So, but his first name was Ian. So, according to this, okay, so maybe not Lemmy.
His name was Ian Fraser Kilmister, so I don't know where Lemmy came from for that. Oh, Lemuel, maybe? Lemuel's a name, like a Hebrewish name. Lucifer, okay. That might have some associations with it.
I'm just thinking of L names.
Lucy, the library spider, could be okay, maybe.
Yeah, Lucy the library spider could work. Lionel.
I'm finding out that I don't really like L names, apparently, very much.
Liam.
Lewis.
Nah.
No, I don't like Liam either. I mean, Liam's okay, but not for the spider. Luchador. Liberace. Liberace, this library spider.
No. No. Let's see. L names. Logan. Levi.
No.
Leonardo.
Leonardo, the library spider. It's okay, maybe.
Luna.
Luna.
Luna the library spider has a certain ring to
I
it.
don't know if it has to be an L name, but
Leilani.
Leilani, that's like a Hawaiian name.
Lincoln.
Lincoln the library spider. I had a friend named Lincoln back in Seattle.
Yeah.
He wasn't a spider.
Cool story. Lucian.
Lucian. Lucius.
Lachlan.
Lachlan.
Lilith.
Lilith is a bit demonic.
Yeah, it means ghost or night monster.
Yeah. It means probably a bird, a nightjar, actually.
Did we say Lucius?
I said Lucius, yeah.
The,
Lucius could work, maybe.
Lucius is
Lucius the
pretty good.
library spider.
should we move on from the name? Should we
Probably.
just pick one
What-
for now?
Let's just call it the library spider for now, and we can
Okay.
think more about the name later. But so what would happen in this comic? What's the kind of basic premise? It lives in a library,
Lives in a library.
and are people trying to kill it? Like, does it have to run away from stuff?
No, I think he or she, they like kids, like they help kids out with like learning the Dewey Decimal System.
Okay, so
So we could like, it could be an educational comic where it's like, because people don't know how the Dewey Decimal System works anymore, do they?
probably not.
I had to
guess.
teach Svetlana, so I feel like they're not teaching this.
But so how do you imagine the spider interacting with children? Is it just like this? Is it just like the spider is just how many panels are in this comic? Is it like a one panel comic? Is something happening over a number of panels?
Like 3 or 4.
Okay. And does the spider like
Psst, that's what it does.
it says psst, but does it like web down from the ceiling next to a child
It's
reading?
it just angles from. Hey, kid, don't
Hey,
pick
kid.
that one.
Hey kid, you want to buy a fly?
Don't pick that one.
Yeah. Don't pick that. So the spider has opinions about what books the children
Yeah.
should read.
Yeah.
What books does the spider not like?
Anything by Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
The spider's a leftist for sure.
For sure. This is a little bit
Because of the
getting away from-
alliteration.
Oh, sure.
Because of the alliteration.
Lucius the leftist
I
library
also just
spider.
don't feel like the right is like all about libraries and learning.
True. That's
So
true,
I
guess.
feel like the spider would have to be like left leaning.
I wasn't really thinking that politics were going to come into this
But
comic
it
about
comes
a
into
spider
everything.
teaching children how to read the Dewey Decimal System or
Well,
whatever.
it was just the first thing first author I could think of that you definitely wouldn't want to read.
Yeah,
Well, he would definitely steer kids away from like Danielle Steele.
sure.
No,
Okay.
you're not ready for that yet.
Okay.
I mean, it's arguably like not something you should read ever, but definitely not when you're 10.
What is like a punchline for this comic? Like, what would be a funny thing to happen in this comic? Right? Like,
Well, I don't write comics.
right. But I'm just trying to work us through like how
Yeah.
a single comic of this could work. Right? Like, how
Okay.
could we?
Okay. Well, I could start off with the premise and you could build off of it maybe.
Well, let's try.
Okay.
So there's a kid reading. Panel 1. A kid reading.
Is a kid reading or is a kid like looking through the shelves for a book?
Okay. Kid looking for kid reading is easier to draw, I guess, but kid looking through shelves for a book, I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Spider panel 2, spider like slides down, appears and says, "Psst, kid." And does the kid know about the spider? Does the kid know is the kid surprised that the spider speaks English? Is it just accepted that the spider's talking to him?
I mean, the kid accepts it because kids just accept things.
Yeah, okay.
Because
I mean, they don't have to. It's our comic.
No.
We can do whatever we want.
No, but a lot of things are new to kids, so like I feel like they'll be more likely to accept it.
Okay.
Their worldview's less rigid.
Sure. Okay. And the spider's like, huh? Or the kid's like, me? Or the kid's like, what's up? Or how does the kid react to the spider? Because I feel like kids don't necessarily love spiders, but some
Really?
kids,
I think some kids do. I
probably.
feel like kids do unless they're taught to be afraid of them.
But I think the question is like, what is the general vibe of people encountering a spider in this comic, right? Like,
I feel like it's just chill. Like
Yeah.
I was picturing the kid just like turning to the spider with like a little question mark. Like, yeah, what do you got to say?
yeah, okay. And then so that's panel 3 is the kid looking over at the spider, and the spider says in panel 4 the spider needs to say something funny, right? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe this isn't like a haha funny comic. Some comics are more just like
Dry humor.
cute, or like, I don't know, not necessarily punchline comics, I guess, but those are the kind I usually like to read.
Yeah.
Heathcliff notwithstanding. I
Maybe the spider just makes like a correction to a misunderstanding of the Dewey Decimal System. Like, you're looking in 200, baking's in 400.
guess. And the kid's like, thanks, library spider.
Yeah. and gives a thumbs up.
Okay. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. That could maybe even be a one panel thing where it's like the kid is like there and the spider's just like, you're looking at the wrong dude, because the rest of it's not necessarily that important, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at the wrong section, and the kid's like, thanks, library spider.
Yeah. But maybe like, should it be something that like, would it be better if it's something that like a kid would not normally be looking for?
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
The rise of the Merovingian dynasty or something.
Yeah, something weird like that. Yeah.
Is the comic always just, thanks, library spider? It could be a little bit like that one comic. I think it's just called Webcomic Name. Do you know what I'm talking about? The one where every episode or every issue, every strip ends with, oh no.
By the way, 400 would not be baking. It would be language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know what comic you're talking about.
I believe it's called Webcomic Name.
Yeah.
And it's like a little pink blob.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just still trying to think of what would be really funny for
a child to be
to be looking at. Pre-Socratic Greek philosophies is his 180.
Okay, sure. That's pretty good. Like the spider's like, psst, kid, you're looking for pre-Socratic Greek society. That's actually 180.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong section.
182, actually.
Okay, 182. So is the comic actually a vehicle just for telling people what's in each section of the Dewey Decimal System?
No, it could be other library facts.
Okay. What are other library facts? Besides that you're like supposed to be quiet.
Psst, periodicals don't go back that far. You want the microfiche.
Okay. I like this. I'm not sure I see more than half a dozen comics out of it.
We'd have to get into some really obscure library stuff.
Yeah, or maybe it's only every once in a while that it's a library fact.
Maybe sometimes it gives bad advice, like psst, due dates are just a suggestion.
maybe the spider lives in a spot where there's a book that's like always taken out, psst. And then like one day somebody puts it back because it stopped being as popular.
Psst, I laid eggs in that one.
Okay, that's a little less. That takes us back to spiders are creepy and bad territory. And I don't know if we want that in this comic.
But it's funny.
I laid eggs in your hair.
No. Okay, that's bad. But like spiders got legs somewhere.
Not necessarily.
No one ever checks that book out.
Okay. So maybe the spider encourages people to check out books that don't get checked out very much.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't get checked out because they're bad, but
yeah.
I feel like maybe it would help if we knew more about like the goings on at libraries, like the daily, like if we actually worked at a library or something.
Yeah.
If this
I mean, I did when I was a kid.
Is about a library spider who has librarian issues to deal with or whatever.
Yeah. No, don't just put it back on the shelf. Put it on the return cart.
Yeah. Okay. Psst, hey kid, if you put it back on the shelf, it might get in the wrong place and mess up everything, and the librarian won't know how to fix it or whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'll take
library
it
spider.
and put it on the return cart.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's too heavy for me. You put it on the return cart.
Okay. Being a little guy, that could be an angle for the
Yeah.
comic. Like, I'm just a little guy. I can't move your book for you. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Maybe the spider's trying to take out a book and needs help.
Oh, maybe the spider asks the children to bring it things it wants to read.
Maybe.
Like,
or maybe
can you hold it up? Okay, I'm done with that page. Turn it.
Is there a librarian that knows about the spider, or maybe there's a librarian that doesn't know about the spider and is confused by something the spider's doing?
Maybe the spider only shows itself to children.
Okay. Because I was saying, like, I'm gonna say like this, the librarian could be like, why are all the books getting put on the tray properly, or like the return cart properly, or whatever, when they weren't before, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The spider's like,
yeah,
giving thumbs up with all of its arms.
I don't know if there's a nut, like, I don't know if you would notice if bad things, like if minor things that would have been slightly annoying don't happen.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know if that angle totally works.
Yeah. I mean, people are generally pretty respectful in a library, so
Yeah.
there's not a lot of problems to fix.
Right. What if there's like somebody who won't shush? The librarian keeps shushing him, so the spider like lands on their face. I guess that would probably make them yell. So it probably wouldn't work very well.
I think that goes into creepy again.
Yeah. But
So.
yeah.
Well, there may not be a lot of meat on these bones, but I do think that you should draw a library spider.
Yeah. And what was the other idea we had a minute ago? The Evil Knievel hamster.
The Evil Knievel hamster.
Yeah. So this could be a podcast where we just come up with cute ideas for comics.
Cute characters.
Cute characters for comics.
Yeah.
Just cute comic character podcast. What do we call it?
Comic cuties.
Comic cuties.
Comic cuties. I kind of like
Comic
it.
cuties. All right,
Yeah.
it can be comical cuties.
No, just comic cuties.
Cute comics for kids.
I like the cuties part though.
Comic cuties.
Comic cuties. It's ridiculous.
Comic cuties.
It sounds kind of ridiculous, and I like that about
Yeah.
it.
Okay. I feel like, I don't know if it works that well as a podcast name, but I guess it's fine.
Yeah. Well, if we decide to actually make it, we could try to come up with something better.
I guess so. Okay. Well, I think we're about at time. So should we do our social media?
Yeah, so you can find all of our links to our social media on our website, which is coolpodcast.website. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at WhatShouldPod. We're on Facebook. And please email us your ideas. We have a new email address just for your fabulous and terrible ideas, which is ideas@coolpodcast.website.
We're also on YouTube, and you can follow us on there if you want. If for some reason you like YouTube better than other stuff, that's fine. We also occasionally put up little shorts of like little clips with animations from the podcast.
Like, subscribe, tell your friends.
Smash that like button, click the bell or whatever. Whatever YouTubers say.
Whatever YouTubers say.
Yeah. Welcome to What Should Our Outro Be About? The outro where we try to figure out what this outro that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm still here.
And I'm also still here.
So, any ideas for outros this week?
No, I never have any.
Yeah.
You gotta go first.
We do some AI voice thing where we make somebody famous say something funny. Like we could probably I bet we could get an AI of like Arnold Schwarzenegger saying like, "Oh no, my pants fell off" or something. Or like, "My butt got stuck in the door." I don't know.
My butt got stuck in the door.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something stupid and funny that we could have Arnold Schwarzenegger or some other celebrity say.
I have nothing.
Nothing at all.
I have nothing at all. It's just a blank up there today.
All right.
I think I have like cold head or something.
Okay, sure.
Is that a thing?
Probably. Woolly head? Wool head?
Sick head.
Okay, so I've put forth the idea of Arnold Schwarzenegger saying my butt got stuck in the door.
Well, I mean, I guess like we should go with that.
I was gonna say we could also just like make animal sounds, maybe.
No, I mean, I kind of now want to hear Arnold Schwarzenegger say my butt got stuck in the door.
Okay.
So-
Is there any other funny stuff we should make him say? Assuming I can find an AI that sounds like him or whatever.
There's a talking spider in this library.
Call the police.
Call the police.
The spider police.
The spider police.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll have him say that, and maybe I'll make him say something else stupid, I guess, if something comes to me. And that'll be right here.
Help, there's a talking spider in this library and I can't get away because my butt got stuck in the door. All the spider police.
All right. Thanks for listening. We're sorry, and we won't do better next time.
Bye.
What was that podcast about? I'm trying to figure it out.